So with that, we bring in retired FBI supervisory special agent and criminal profiler James Fitzgerald, who worked to catch the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski. James, thank you. Good to have you back on the program today. We've learned a little bit more about this individual, that he had a note. He wanted them to check his brain for CTE. No word yet on whether the autopsy will try to figure that out about this individual yet. But your thoughts as we learn a little bit more about this killer.
Well, up front, Martha, prayers and condolences go out to the family of Officer Islam and the other victims. And the one thing about when an officer is slain in the line of duty, his fellow officers will take his handcuffs and use them to arrest the person who killed him. Unfortunately, in this case, that won't be happening because the shooter took the coward's way out and did himself in when I'm sure he saw reinforcements coming his way. So, yeah, there are many ways to look at this particular situation. There'll be a psychological autopsy done of this individual, this shooter, and they will find out everything they can about his past. What I find just as critical will be of course, his physical autopsy, and not what may or may not be a part of the brain disorder that he's alleging to have suffered from, but also what kind of drugs is he on? What kind of potpourri of different mixture of drugs has this guy experienced and experimented with that it caused his brain to become so addled that he would carry on some sort of an activity like this, attempting to take out a whole corporation? I'm not sure he even had specific names. He had names he was not going to hurt, or he was praising some various neuroscientists. But otherwise, it was just like a shotgun approach. And believe me, that's not a pun intended with his assault rifle. But he was just trying to go up and kill someone representing the NFL. Then, of course, he makes the wrong turn, goes to the wrong floor, and completely innocent people wind up getting killed. Yeah.
You just can't imagine how inconsolable these families are, especially when you learn that, he was heading somewhere else. I mean, it's a tragedy from beginning to end. What do you think about this information that one part of his weapon was supplied by someone else? And according to Commissioner Tisch, they are investigating, let me get this right, they've located that associate and others, and will be questioning him about that purchase.
Well, I'm telling you, Martha, if as much as a trigger or the strap that holds the rifle someone else gave that to the shooter, that person should be arrested and face the full extent of the law. They should definitely be arrested. Who knows how many other accomplices may be involved, but anyone who assisted in this murder, and the lesson will be learned. Don't help these people out and report them before they act.
I mean, he apparently played high school football, and somehow blames the NFL in this larger picture. And there's an NFL employee who we understand, who is still hospitalized in this case. But, just sort of these scenarios that these kinds of killers cook up. You talked about medication. There were medications that were found in the vehicle and also a bag of pot in the vehicle as well. Last thought on that.
How that all comes together, others will have to determine through the autopsy. I saw an interview with his high school coach. As far as he recalls, he only had an ankle injury, never a head injury. So whether it's real or perceived on this person's part, he was targeting big corporations, and that's probably going to happen again.
James Fitzgerald, thank you very much. Good to have your expertise with us.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.